We're going to go ahead and get started here. I do want to make sure that we give a warm welcome to one of our student success presenters, Danielle Baroni. So I'll let you go ahead, Danielle, and take it away.
Hi, everyone. Another whole heart congratulations from me. My name is Danielle Baroni, and I work here at the Undergraduate Student Success Center here on campus. You are here tonight to learn more about making the first step in your UMass journey and trying to make a decision on whether joining a residential academic program is a good choice for you. Congratulations again. Those numbers that Byron shared are so impressive. And so I am so excited and enthusiastic to welcome you to our community. As I said, my name is Danielle Baroni. I serve as the Director of Student Success Academic Programs. I myself am a first-generation college student. I was the first in my family to go to college. I did not go to UMass Amherst, though. I went to Western New England University, which at the time was Western New England College. And as a first-generation college student, joining a living learning community was something that I wanted to do. It was a choice for me to sign up to live with friends that I thought would be sort of built in, and it really was a wonderful experience for me. We took a couple of classes together and really bonded as a residential floor. And so it's full circle for me to now be working in programming that supports living learning communities. I've worked here on campus since 2009, and I've worked with the RAP program since 2010. So I'm very familiar with RAP and all of the benefit that it offers. And then as a personal note, I'm a mom of three, including two teenagers, one that is very close to college going years. And so we are starting these conversations at home. And so to the caregivers and to the parents out there, congratulations to you as well, right? This is often a team thing. So congratulations to all of you. I'd like to introduce my colleague Eliza Michelada, who also has a compelling story about RAP.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eliza Michelada, and I'm Program Manager for Student Success Academic Programs. And similarly to Danielle, I was also a first-gen student, and I did go to UMass. I joined the RAP during my first year on campus. I also am from the Amherst area, so coming to UMass was very exciting. It was very large compared to my high school, so I wanted to join a small community of students to help me navigate campus. As an 18-year-old, I was very shy and not very outgoing. And not only did I meet my very best friends from college in that program, it also really set me up for my career. I worked in the RAP office as an undergrad student for my work study job on campus, and that really led me to know that I wanted to be in higher ed long term in my career. And similarly to Danielle, full circle moment, I'm now back in my dream job here at UMass, giving back to all of the future generations of first year students in their RAPs. And now I'd like to hand it over to our tour guides to start introducing themselves. So Swastika, you can introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Swastika. I am a junior majoring in biology with minors in chemistry and biochemistry on the pre-med track at UMass Amherst. I'm heading from Kolkata, India, which means I'm an international student on campus. And a couple of things I do on campus I'm part of the UMass Pre-Med Society Club. This is where physicians come in, they talk about their weird interactions with patients, which I think is pretty cool and interesting. I'm also part of the KDC Club. It's a K-pop dance club. We have face-offs, dance fights, again, pretty cool. I'm also a TA, a teaching assistant for introductory biology, which is Bio 151. And I'm also one of the leaders of the Biosci Club. And I have worked in the PR design team as part of Hack UMass. And now I'm going to pass it on to Sophie so that she can go ahead and introduce herself.
Thank you, Swastika. Hi, everyone. My name is Sophie, and I'm a senior at UMass studying political science and journalism. I'm also a member of the Commonwealth Honors College. We actually have our honors graduation ceremony tomorrow night, which is bizarre to think about, especially considering, I'm thinking about my time starting at UMass in a RAP in honors. But nonetheless, I'm originally from Marblehead, Massachusetts. Some things I'm involved in on campus include the campus radio station. I'm a DJ for WMUA Amherst. I also used to be a resident assistant in our Southwest residential area, and I studied abroad in the spring of my junior year in the south of France. So that's a little bit about me, but I will pass it on to Arjun.
Thank you, Sophie. My name is Arjun. I'm a sophomore majoring in chemical engineering, and I'm from Dallas, Texas, so I'm out of state. Outside of classes, I'm a tour guide. I'm a part of the American Institute of Chemical Engineers and the UMass Chemical Engineering car team. The competition for that was in March, so that was really fun. Headed over to University of Rhode Island and competed against other different schools. I'm also a part of the South Asian Student Association and the Table Tennis Club. And then I can pass it on to the next person.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michaela. Sorry, my voice doesn't usually sound like this, but I am a junior studying biochemistry and Chinese. I'm getting a dual degree. I'm originally from Gambrills, Maryland. It's about 15 minutes from Annapolis, 30 minutes from Baltimore, and an hour from DC, and also 8 hours from UMass, but nonetheless, I'm still here. And then in terms of my campus activities, I'm a member of the Honors College, and I work for the Honors College as a peer advisor. And then I'm also the president of Black Women in Medicine, which is a club where we work to provide Black women interested in pre-health careers with resume building opportunities in student alumni panels, etc. I am the treasurer of the Pi Iota chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, which is a Black Greek-legged organization we have. And I'm also the treasurer of the National Panhellenic Council, which holds all of our Black Greek-legged organizations. And I work in a research lab as a research assistant for a natural resource conservation project on freshwater mussels. So yeah. I'll pass it on to Val.
Hi everyone, my name is Valerie. I am a junior nursing major. I am from Canton, Massachusetts. Besides being a tour guide, I am also a student ambassador for the College of Nursing. I also perform research with the Nursing Engineering Research Center. So I've been a research assistant there for about 3 years now. I'm also the president of the Haitian American Student Association. And I am also a residential assistant, and I will pass it on to Celia.
Hi guys, my name is Celia. I am a junior here at UMass majoring in legal studies with a minor in women, gender, and sexuality studies, and I'm pursuing a certificate in reproductive health and justice. So I'm hoping to go to law school at some point. I'm also a transfer student, so I transferred during the beginning of my sophomore year to UMass, and I'm from Acton, Maine. It's a really small town in southern Maine. It's like an hour south of Portland, if you guys have been there. And some things I do at UMass besides being a tour guide, which is why we're all here today. I'm a part of the Honors College, and I also work as a student ambassador for the Honors College. I also am involved with student success, and I was a TA for a seminar last semester. And this year I'm working as their transfer student engagement coordinator. So I make a lot of fun events for transfer students every semester just to kind of help them acclimate to their time here. I'm also on the club swimming team, the triathlon club team, and I'm a lifeguard for our campus recreation center. So it's a little bit about me.
Thanks, you all. There are some days that I come to work and I'm like, wow, I'm tired. And then I hear our students and how busy they are and how incredible they are. And I just am in awe. And so thank you all so much for sharing and introducing yourself and sharing with our folks a little bit about what it is that you're involved in on campus. You all came here tonight to participate in this webinar to learn a little bit more about what it is that RAP can offer you or your student. And so at the end of this presentation, we hope that you will be able to recognize 3 benefits and what you could get out of joining a RAP. Why do it? What can that offer to me? We hope that you'll understand that there's tons of variety in there. That can be both something to get excited about, all the variety. And what we hope is that by the end of that, you can see that the variety is a value added component of RAP, that there's lots of choice within RAP. And it is not a very restrictive program. And then lastly, we hope that you'll recognize what the first step is to participating, including that May 19th is the first day that you can participate. There is a window of RAP that it is not a first come, first serve sort of thing. And so you do not need to rush, but just putting May 19th on your radar is probably a good first step. And so I bring you here tonight to start this presentation by saying, what is RAP, right? What is this? This photo that's up on my screen is actually a photo of the first RAP class that ever began in 1965. RAP is 60 years old, and we are so proud to say that RAP is 60 years old. This photo was taken from the Webster classroom, and this is a group of they look a little bit bored, but I suspect that they were probably very engaged students. When these residence halls up in Orchard Hill were built, this is a photo from the Webster classroom. The architects of those programs really thought about the built environment, and they thought about making UMass Amherst as an ever-expanding campus feel small for students. And I can imagine as you're making your decisions and made your decision to come to UMass that the size of our campus might have been something that you were thinking about. RAP is an amazing way for you to make this campus feel a little bit smaller than it might seem as you're walking around. And so the architects back in 1965 also thought about this, and they thought about building small classrooms within residence residence halls. They thought about building lounge spaces and faculty apartments in our residence halls. And that's how RAP began. Faculty members that would come down to the lounge at night and sit around with students and teach them and spend time chatting with students and all of that, to offer students an opportunity to make connections. We honor so much of this legacy today, and RAP has changed since 1965. Except for this classroom, it does look exactly like this. But we honor so much of this legacy today by expanding RAP into all first-year residence halls. And I'm going to say that a couple times throughout the presentation. But where a first-year student can live on campus, in every one of those residence halls, a RAP program exists. And so there isn't one hall where RAP is, or there isn't an area of campus where RAP is. It is in every residential area and in every residence hall. It is open to all first-year students and new transfer students, and is not required. It is an optional experience, yet we do see between 25 and 35% of the first-year class participate in this. Within these classrooms, there is technology, there is security, there is desks, and everything that you would need. It is very much a functional classroom. And so, to be very brief, what is RAP? RAPs are academic living learning communities. It is a dedicated floor in a residence hall where students who live on that floor take a class that is restricted. And when we say restricted, we mean that only the students that are participating in that RAP are able to register and enroll in that class. Again, RAP is often a fall semester initiative. And so once you join a RAP, you don't need to stay or live with those students for all 4 years. You will live with those students for the first year in your residence hall. And you'll take the class in the fall semester. It is not required for first year students, but it is an amazing optional opportunity for you to do. These living learning communities are academically based, and they are not always major specific. And so here are some highlights that we want to share, right? What does that mean to bring that to life? And so there are plenty of options to discover within RAP. The courses that my team chooses to be a part of RAP are mostly general education courses. And so when we say they're not always major specific, we do work with the colleges. And so whether you are a College of Engineering student or College of Nursing or Social and Behavioral Sciences, we work with the academic leadership in those colleges to choose classes that satisfy gen ed requirements. All students, first-year students, are encouraged and required to take a breadth of general education requirements within their college. And so the courses that we choose will satisfy those requirements. When you choose to participate in a RAP, you are getting access to a built-in group of new peers, and those peers share an interest of yours. That's one of the reasons why I joined a living learning community, is because I thought, hey, if I'm interested in this political science class, the person living across the hall might be interested as well, and we have a built-in connection right off the bat. Many of these courses that we take also offer larger sections on main campus, and so these courses may be being taught in larger lecture halls with upwards of 100 or so students. And so RAP also offers an awesome opportunity to take a class that otherwise might be taught in a large lecture hall in a small residential classroom with no more than 30 students. And so we add this variety on purpose, and you can choose your RAP based on your major. You can choose it from courses that are offered within your college, or you can stretch your thinking and go outside of your college. What RAP isn't is they're not often interest-based. And so I want to be clear that if you are interested in tennis, right, we don't have a tennis RAP, but it's likely that you may take a RAP where another student in there also likes to play tennis. And so these very much are academic living learning communities. The photos on these slides are actually from this past fall. And the photo of the professor is our beloved philosophy professor, Brian. These classes took trips together. They visited museums. They visited different athletic events on campus. They ate dinner in the dining hall together on their way to class or on their way home from class. And as Brian's photo indicates, Brian had tasked his class with starting to watch movies that were about philosophy. And so he recommended a number of titles. Those students gathered on their own to watch those movies in the lounge. And after a while, they told Brian about this and he joined them. He started going and he brought popcorn a couple times for them. And so RAP really is this small, pretty high impact learning environment. And so what are some of the benefits of RAP? And so by signing up for RAP, you'll be able to know exactly what residence hall you're living with on campus. As I said before, RAP is a package deal. It is a dedicated residence hall floor and a restricted course that goes along with that. If you choose not to participate in a RAP, you're still able to preference your area of campus, but you're not able to preference your exact residence hall. And so if you it's really important to you to know earlier in the summer where you're living on campus, RAP is a great way to be able to do that. Um, you won't exactly know what room assignment you have. That will come later in August, but you will be able to know what residence hall that you're living in. The other option is that, as you know and as you've seen, our campus is beautiful. It's also big. And so being a member of RAP means that one of your classes is taught right downstairs. And so you can go to class in your slippers, you can go to class in your jammies. We don't recommend barefoot, but you certainly can choose some comfortable footwear for sure. And as I said before, those classes are capped at only 30 seats. And so those courses are, they are highly conversational. There is lots of peer work, lots of group work. And so you're able to meet students really easily. Class connection. So our RAP professors are hand selected by the academic departments and by my team. When we seek RAP instructors, we are looking for RAP instructors that are interested in not only teaching content and course material, they are experts in their field, but also they are interested in working with first-year students. And so our RAP instructors are trained to help students learn how to advocate for themselves, to learn how to help navigate our big campus. They create lots of opportunities for peer connection in the classroom, and they know what to look for when a student is struggling. And so if a student stops going to class, or if they are sick, or if there is a roommate conflict, or they're just not adjusting well, our RAP instructors are trained on how to help triage those situations and get students to the right resources. Another benefit of RAP is that we survey students every single year, and we know from lots of years of data that students always indicate that being in a RAP helps them make friends more easily than peers who don't participate in RAP. That's not to say that not joining a RAP means that you're not going to have any friends, but RAP students report that it is easier to make friends right off the bat because you are living and learning with the same students. This makes sense, right? You're able to take class with the person that you brush your teeth with in the mornings. And so it makes sense that this proximity helps to foster connection. Lastly, our RAP instructors are encouraged to incorporate some of the most critical campus resources into their class. So helping students know how to access tutoring services and supplemental instruction, writing centers, and how to get access to research opportunities and all of that. A lot of that is built into the coursework. And if it's not a part of the coursework, the RAP instructor is talking about that at the beginning of class. As I shared at the beginning, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of 3 kids, 2 of which whom are teenagers. And so I have seen firsthand that the choice overwhelm that happens. And so another benefit that's actually not on this screen right now, but I think that we have come around to seeing, is that choosing to participate in a RAP is a helpful way for students who may be feeling overwhelmed or anxious about all of this, right? Because choosing to live in a RAP helps secure your housing and helps you get enrolled in a course that is small. And so it is a built-in package kind of deal so that students who may be feeling overwhelmed about either the size or just all of the different to-dos that you have to do as a new student before the start of classes, choosing a RAP helps you get 2 of those decisions done off the bat, where you're going to live and get enrolled in at least one class. And so that's another benefit that we've been seeing a lot lately. And so where do you start in choosing, right? We have over 50 programs to choose from, and that's exciting for us. And I suspect might be a little bit overwhelming in the beginning. And so my team will help students choose their RAP by starting, we want folks to either start with, what's most important to you? Is it most important to you where you live on campus, or is it most important to you what you learn? What we find year after year is these things are equally important to students. And so this is just a starting place. And our hope always is that at the end, you find a program that meets both, that you love where you live and you love the class that you're in. And so things to consider as far as living, again, RAPs are available in every single first year hall. So choosing to live in a RAP does not preclude you from living in another area of campus. Those spaces are all accessible with dining commons all around campus. Each of those residence halls has lounges. They all have residential classrooms, a la the photo that we shared at the beginning. And there are fun area amenities and student-run businesses that are all in different nooks and crannies around campus. I'm sure you've heard that each of our residential areas has a flair and a flavor to it, and so there's lots to choose from within these programs. We will say if you are a student who is in need of break housing, if you come from a state far away, if you are an international student, or if you are from Amherst, Massachusetts and simply don't want to go home, there are 2 halls for that wraps are available and that have break housing. And so we encourage you to check out the wraps in Wheeler and in James Hall to see if those are programs that you might need. When we talk about break housing, we talk about the November break, winter break, and spring break. And so our residence halls do close across the board. And there are a few select ones that do stay open that students do not need to vacate campus. And for WRAP, that is our Wheeler and James. If you prefer gender inclusive housing or you need gender inclusive restrooms, there are wraps available to you. We recommend checking out our website for more information about those particular programs. And lastly, you may be wondering about wraps, but perhaps you know you're going to live with your best friend from high school, or you know that the person that you want to live with is just not interested in wrap. You're going to want to check out to see if that program is what we call roommate restricted or not. Most of our wraps are actually not roommate restricted, meaning that if you're super interested in it and your roommate is not, you need to live together on the wrap floor, but your roommate does not need to enroll in the course. And so we wouldn't consider your roommate a part of the wrap, but you would. And so each program has a little bit of detail that will be important for you to review on the website. And so that's the living component. Perhaps you care more about the learning. And so within that, there's more categories. And so there are a few kinds of wraps. Like I said at the beginning, most of our wraps offer general education courses that are unrestricted. And so these are courses that satisfy across the breadth of the general education requirement. These are courses that have been hand selected by your academic deans to be offered, but it doesn't mean that you need to stay within your college. So a College of Engineering student very much could participate in a wrap that is offered or that is offering an English course or a history course or one of those courses. As an engineering student, you're going to be required to take different gen eds, and there is a program for you, even if it doesn't have engineering in the title, if that makes sense. There are other programs that are more low stakes, or what we would consider low stakes. And so if you are not able to fit a general education course in your study, you are able to take wraps with seminar courses. And so all first year students are expected to enroll in a first year seminar. And we have wraps that just have seminars. And so if you are like Valerie and you are a nursing student and you have a full slate of courses on your books for fall semester, and you're like, I possibly can't fit another gen ed course, then we recommend checking out one of the seminar wraps. 1 credit, 50 minutes once a week. There are lower stakes opportunities to still participate in wrap. There are also application wraps. These are sort of more specialty or niche programs that students apply to or they are invited to apply to. I suspect that some of you on this call tonight have been invited to apply or have applied for some of these application programs. These are exciting programs that are supported through your college that help particular groups of students or particular interests of students acclimate and transition to the university. And then, yes, we heard from our amazing tour guides that so many of them are honor students. And so if you are an honor student yourself, you may be wondering, okay, Danielle, that sounds great, but I'm an honor student. How does this apply to me? First and foremost, congratulations. Second of all, honor students are eligible to participate in any of the wraps. If you are interested mostly in living in honors housing, we do have honors wraps available. There is one wrap that we replicate in 6 different locations in the building, and we call that wrap Contemporary Topics. And so there is also an honors engineering program in the building as well, and a biology program. And so there are a few programs in honors residence halls that are honors wraps. And again, all of that information is on our website. And so our amazing tour guides introduce themselves. I think it's one thing to hear from administrators of the program, but really what you came here is to learn about like, what will wrap offer to me? What will wrap offer to my student? And so I'd like to turn it over to our incredible students to share a little bit about how wrap helped them and positively impacted their experience.
I can go. Yeah. So how it positively impacted me being an international student. It was really intimidating, and the campus felt really large, and I was really scared that, oh, will it be easier for me to settle in than most in-state kids and out-of-state kids, or will be really difficult for me. So joining a rap really made it easy for me in a way that I am interested in the pre-med track, and all the people living on my floor and attending the same classes I am, they are also all on the pre-med track. So we took a health science rap, and all of us were attending that class. I made friends. We still till date like match our classes together so that we can go for our classes together, finish homework together, and then study for the exams together as well. So it really positively impacted my college life in a way.
Swastika, thank you so much. I'd love to hear that rep students are still friends like later on in life. I know Eliza actually just attended the wedding of somebody that she shared, she was in a rep with, and so that's great. Anyone else want to offer, like, how did being a part in a rep? Yeah, Celia, how did that positively impact your experience?
Yeah, so I said in my introduction I came into UMass as a transfer student, and if you guys have taken a tour here, or just visited campus, this campus has over 30,000 students on it. So coming in here as a transfer, I was terrified. Honestly, I was so scared. My biggest fear was that I was going to come in here and everyone was already going to have these friend groups and that I was going to be that weird transfer kid. But I joined a rap in our Southwest area, and I lived in a tower with 22 floors and about 2,000 students. And pretty much everyone on the first to the 14th floor was a transfer. And it was just so amazing at the end of the day to come back home and everyone around me was going through the same thing that I was. And all of us have been to college before. We all knew the ropes, but we were all new to UMass. And it was so nice to have a roommate that was going through the same thing that I was. All my friends were. I would be brushing my teeth at the end of the night and I would talk to a girl who was also transferring here. And I can't even explain how much it impacted my experience. And I am in honors and I chose not to live in the honors housing and to live in this rap instead. And I think that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And everyone on my floor is some of my best friends. And I hope to go to their wedding someday too. So it was just so awesome. And I talk about it every single day on tour. And every time I walk past where I lived last year, I get really sad because I miss it so much.
Thanks, Celia. Anyone else? Yeah, Val.
So I joined the nursing rap, which is no longer available, but I do remember when I was looking through the list of raps, there were so many other raps that I did want to join, and some of my like other nursing classmates, they weren't even in the nursing rap. They were in like public health or like other gen eds that we had to do. I just thought it was like a great way to meet like a lot of my classmates. Like really early on in the semester, we don't really start taking like all of like our nursing courses together until about like sophomore year. So it's a great way to kind of get introduced to everybody. And I was introduced to like my roommate, and like there are also people that were just like not even in our rap that were not nursing majors, and that was like also great just because you're able to meet so many different types of people. But I do think raps are like a great way to meet a lot of people very quickly. And you guys are kind of all like in the same position where like you're all taking the same classes, like you might all be interested in like the same subject, or you're all in the same major. And it's a great way to kind of meet a lot of people very early on. So I'm very happy that I joined my rap.
Thanks, Val. Valerie, you bring up so many good points about being in class with people also outside your major, right? As a major student, you're going to spend a lot of time already in classes with folks that are in your major. There's lots of opportunities to get involved in registered student organizations within your major. And so RAP also offers you an opportunity to take classes with folks outside of your academic discipline. And that's really exciting. The other point, Valerie, that you bring up is students will take one class. And so RAP is one class that students will take. There are a few of our programs that offer two classes together, but those are in our application programs. And so most of what RAP has to offer is just one class. And so you don't take every single class with those folks that are living on your floor. You take one class. And so it does offer you this really nice variety. I'd like to hear a little bit from all of you about like maybe something fun or a fun memory or something that was like spontaneous that you did with your rep peers, your rep floor, maybe your rep instructor that has like stuck with you for the last few years.
This a little bit. I was in the biotech rep, so this is one of the application ones that is through the Honors College, and we did a lab, a lecture, and we had a seminar together. So we were always spending a lot of time with each other. And to this day, I still see those people in my biology or biochem classes or just on campus. But even some of my best memories are from our the lab course that we took in the spring. We had done a field lab, and it was my first introduction to field work, and it is actually the reason why I'm in the lab that I'm in today. So it is it was a really cool opportunity to work on an independent project with my peers. And like also just because I live with them, we could work on it from the comfort of our dorms in the common room. So yeah, it was a really great experience.
Thanks. I love that. I also think, Michaela, you're highlighting something that I didn't talk about, which is the ability to like walk across the hall and say, "Hey, do you want to study for that exam together?" Right? Like you have these built-in study buddies that live across the hall from you. Anyone else, a fun or memorable memory that you'd like to share?
Sorry, Arjun, feel free to go afterwards. I guess it was like 3.5 years ago when I was a first year student. One of our first weekends, we decided to conquer the Pioneer Valley Transit Authority, which is our free public transportation system that now I use all the time actually to get to my off-campus house where I live with three girls who I met from my freshman year rap. But at the time, none of us knew how to use it. So we ended up taking the bus to Puffer's Pond, which is a nearby outdoor space accessible by bus, or you could walk there. It'd be a little bit of a longer walk. Um, and we ended up jumping off of this kind of elevated part of like rocks. And it was such a scary moment, but I remember coming up for air when I had finally jumped, and like all my friends from this rap were cheering for me. And it was just such a supportive feeling in general that whole year in the classroom when we would have presentations together, outside of the classroom when we would hang out, ask if anyone wanted to get dinner. It was just a great way to ease the transition into college. I saw a question, someone noting, do you feel limited being in a rap? Do you only, befriend the people in that group? And I would say far from it. I felt like it just kind of gave me that solid foundation to go out and then feel confident to seek out more friends. And yet it was funny because I ended up always coming back to the people from my rap. Those were definitely my closest friends at the beginning of college, and they remain my closest friends as a senior.
Thanks, Sophie. That's sweet. Arjun?
Yeah, so I did the engineering rap, and for specifically the engineering rap, you had a lot of different options for the different like classes you could take with your classmates or the people you were living with. And so I did, even though I'm chemical engineering, I took like a biomedical engineering rap class with everyone, and it was a bunch of different engineering majors. I think almost nobody in there was a biomedical engineering, which is pretty fascinating. It was just cool to learn something new. So I know for some of the other raps that you're able to take, unique classes that you might not be able to take within your majors. So that was just really cool that I was able to do that and do it with other engineering majors and people that I was having other classes with too.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Arjun. We hear from a lot of students that are, I'm a legal studies major. Do you have a legal studies rap, right? Or I'm a biomedical engineer and I'd like to study with other biomedical engineers. And while we do have some programs that do gather students by major, we really do want to encourage folks to step beyond their major and to take classes that fulfill the gen ed requirements. That fulfill the gen ed requirements and help kind of expand your thinking. All first year students are required to take gen eds that first year. And so you might as well do that within a group of 30 that you can live with and kind of experience all of those things. There's a couple of questions coming up in the Q&A that I'd like to address, and then would love to ask you all one more question before we move on with the presentation. And so there are lots of questions about roommates, it seems like. And so one of the questions is, can you choose to have a roommate within RAP? And the answer is yes. And so if you decide that you want to be a part of RAP and you know who you want to live with, if that RAP is not roommate restricted, meaning if the two roommates want to participate in the RAP together, or if they, okay, I'm sorry, hold on one second. Check to see if the RAP that you want to live in is roommate restricted. If it is, that means that the person you want to live with also needs to be a member of that RAP. Being a member of that RAP means living in that room and enrolling in that course. And so you'll need to check the course requirements. As I said before, most of the RAPs are not roommate restricted. And so chances are pretty good that if you know somebody that you want to live with and they're not interested in being a part of that RAP class, you'll still be able to live together. Honors housing is a little bit different because all students who are living in honors need to be honors students, need to be members of the Commonwealth Honors College. Another question, can you choose a roommate and decide to join a RAP together, or is it all random? You can choose to go together. We do want students, if you don't know who you want to live with, but you know you want to be a part of a RAP, we still have to have students fill out what we call the housing preference application. That preference application helps us match you with the best roommate, right? In that preference application, we ask about things like, When do you like to study? What are some of your habits and your likes and your dislikes? And so even within the wrap, we want to make sure that you get the best possible roommate that you do. Okay. Um, let's see. Last question. I guess what would be some advice for somebody who maybe is on the fence about like participating in a rap, not participating in a rap? What might be some of your advice to help folks make a decision on whether they want to participate or not?
Um, I would say something that helped me decide that I want to participate in a rap was because I knew I wanted to live in like a specific area on campus, or I wanted to live in a specific building. And honestly, I was just kind of like looking at any of the raps that just happened to be in that area, and it just so happened that nursing was in that area. But if you really want to live in like a certain area on campus, like a rap is a great way to kind of like get into that area. I would also say if you want to like meet people, maybe like within your major or even just like outside your major, if you have like a special interest or something like that, and you want to meet other people with that same special interest, it's kind of like a great way to meet a bunch of people on campus within like that first week that everyone's kind of, you know, just touched down on campus. Everybody's like also new. They're also really nervous. So you guys are kind of all going through the same thing. I remember when I first moved in to my rap, like we were all very nervous. My RA had like took us all out to dinner like that night. So like we all got to like chat and like meet up, and we would all go to like spin classes together like every Friday. So we were able to like really bond very quickly. So I highly recommend it.
Amazing, thank you. Anyone else have any advice on like, how do you choose? Yeah, Celia.
Yeah, I think you highlighted this a little bit, but as someone who literally knew nothing about where I was going to be living when I came in, kind of having that anxiety really eased and having confirmation that I was accepted into that wrap right away and that I knew I had housing. I didn't have to wait till I think it was August 7th when that housing became available. I knew June 1st of 2023. And so that was just so nice. And I could breathe for the whole semester. And me and my roommate knew exactly where we were living. And as a very anxious person already, that really did take a lot of stress off of me. And I could begin to look online. Like if you guys do pick a wrap, you can look up UMass dorm, whatever building that you're going to live in, and look at a dorm tour for that. And I could already start kind of planning what I was going to need and where I was going to need those things. And that just really helped me, especially as I was coming into a new school. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Celia. I'm a planner too, so I would do that for that reason. Okay. Anything else that you all want to offer to our webinar participants tonight about the way that RAP has positively impacted you or anything else for them to know?
I would say, as you mentioned before, that, just not maybe just stick to the major and go like beyond the major as well, and then figure out classes you always wanted to, maybe like a psychology class that you always wanted to take, but you couldn't take it just because you had other stuff going on. Maybe take that psychology class. You never know, you might meet your friends and you might meet people who are interested in psychology, and then just share your interests with them, and maybe you might switch your major later on in your second year or something to psychology. So maybe just take that leap, and it's all about learning through college. So yeah, and definitely I wanted like break housing as well with my rap, and fortunately for me, there was break housing and rap in the same building. So maybe decide your priorities if you want break housing first or if you want to join that rap first. So yeah, that too as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all so much. And then lastly, a question that has come up in the Q&A is about our launch programs. And so UMass Amherst offers, I'm sure you also have heard about, our two programs called Global Launch and Career Launch. These are programs where new first-year students start their first semester away from our campus. You can either start in one of the global cities that Global Launch has to offer or at our Mount Ida campus in Newton, Massachusetts. And so the question is, if I participate in either of those launch programs, can I come back in the second semester and participate in RAP. And so RAP really is a fall semester initiative. That's when the course is offered. That's when students experience that new to campus transition. And so RAP is not a spring semester initiative. So in short, no. But you will come back to campus in the spring and you will live with other first year students. If there is a vacancy on a RAP floor, you may be placed with RAP students. But really all of the co-curricular programming and the course that is offered and the course that is taught in the residence hall, that is a fall semester initiative. Okay, so let's move forward. And so really this is about our next steps. If you like what you heard so far, if you feel like, this is interesting and may help tick some of the boxes for what me or my, if you were for you or your student, we really believe that RAP is a great way to kickstart your UMass Amherst journey. And so what we want you to do, again, in summary, is to decide what is most important to you. Is where you live most important, as Valerie said? Is what you are learning in the classroom most important? Is it important for you to take classes that are as connected to your major as possible? Is class size important to you? Does the idea of sitting in a lecture hall to take some of your gen eds intimidate you, or does that excite you? And so think about the setting that RAP has to offer for you. The next step after that is if you decide that this is what you want to do, to review our website. All of the information that you'll need is on our website. We want you to familiarize yourself with some of our most exciting program offerings. And then we want you to identify several options. There are 2 phases to our process. Our first phase that we call priority RAP registration is a lottery process. And so we want you to come up with a list of 5 programs that are of interest to you. Then our program uses a lottery system to ensure that equity is applied and that everyone who's interested has a fair shot of joining these programs. If you get placed into the program that you really don't want, and so you may be thinking like, oh gosh, I'm really only interested in one of these programs, and so if I don't get that, what do I do? Easy. If you get placed into a program that you don't want, you don't have to stay, but we do encourage you to think about it and to do a little bit of research as to the program you picked. And then after May 21st, we will release the results of the lottery. You'll know at that point if you have been placed in that program. That means you'll know one of the courses that you're expected to enroll in, and you'll know the residence hall that you're living in. After that May 21st phase, between June 1 and July 1, we offer RAP as a first come, first serve, right? The spots that are left over then become available for anyone, depending on the restriction of the program, but for anyone to pick from. And so when you meet with your course advisor, when you work and come, or when you come for orientation, you can chat with an orientation and transition leader. And so between May 19th and May 21st is not your only opportunity to join RAP. And so RAP will close on July 1st. That is also when the housing deadline closes. If you're thinking that the idea of a lottery might be a little bit scary, I want to give you a couple of numbers to reassure you that this really is an equitable and accessible process. And so over the last 3 years that we've utilized this lottery process, 99.5% of students were placed into programs. And so most all of the students that are interested in RAP were able to be placed into a program. 98% of all students were placed into one of their top 3 programs, and 89% of students were placed into their first choice program. And so odds are in your favor that you will get into the program that you want. And so you also may be saying like, my situation's a little particular and I have some things that I'd like to chat with you all about. I have this major, I have this minor, I have this certificate, I want to study abroad, I want to do all of these things. Can you please help me? And the answer is yes. Eliza and myself and our other team members are always here to help. We want to hear from you. On your left is a QR code to our website. And if you have a burning question right now that I was not able to answer in the Q&A, that QR code is on the right. And I am here in the office and I'm happy to answer your questions within the next few business days. So please do reach out to us. There is a lot to consider on our campus. I imagine that there may be questions about your particular situations or the goals and the dreams and the aspirations that you have here on UMass. So please do reach out. We will help you make the best decision for you as possible, even if that means not joining a RAP. But we are excited that you decided to join us tonight. We are so proud and excited that you will be joining us in the fall, and congratulations to you all, and thank you for joining us tonight. And so with that, I'd like to welcome Byron back to the presentation for a few closing announcements.
Well, thank you, Danielle. That was awesome, folks. And I got to tell you, you guys did such a great job with that. I'm always learning something new. I'll go through these slides here, folks. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but let's talk about some of the next steps for joining us. Obviously, we can't wait to see you on campus in the fall. We are hoping that you are choosing UMass Amherst. Some of this stuff has already passed, so hopefully everyone on here has already done something with the FAFSA in March. The next big thing is the enrollment deposit. That hasn't changed. I've been doing admissions now for 15 years, and it's always after April 30th, which is my birthday, but May 1st is the big day that we're all waiting for, because that's the day that you pay your deposit and your dreams start to come into reality. By doing that also, May 5th, register for the Ready for the U will open up, and that's a good thing for you and your family because it will open you up to be able to engage with the university on different levels, whether it's the resources, communications, and you'll do this usually in June and July. It helps you to navigate campus life at UMass, get the skills that you need to be successful. You'll meet new fellow new students, as well as get information from experienced orientation leaders. I mean, so much has changed. There's a lot of stuff out there, but it's still a good idea to kind of be in the mix doing step by step because honestly, you're probably overwhelmed. I mean, I've got to imagine that, it's the end of the year, you're trying to close up, trying to make decisions. And again, I kind of mentioned I've been doing this 15 years, and it's not always been here at UMass Amherst. Some of it was at Binghamton, it was at Maryland College Park, as well as UConn. So I know some of those places you also applied. I want you to know it's going to be about the feel. At this point, if you visited the campus, you're in great hands, okay? Because you know how you felt when you came here. You've talked to some of these great tour guides we have. And I got to tell you, they're some of the best that are out there. I've seen quite a bit. And I got to tell you, these folks are always motivated, no matter even when I started here asking them questions, I got legitimate answers. So you want to also make sure wherever you're going, that your fellow student body is going to be moving on out of here to the next step, which is usually a job for you. I mean, we have a high retention rate. So making this decision, it's not light, and we certainly understand that. So we know there's probably more questions after tonight. We want you to make sure that you're reaching out. Take snapshots of these things. Don't overwhelm yourself. At the high school level, you dealt with the guidance office. It was like a one-stop shop for everything. When you come to university, there's different departments, different people that want to help you out through this process. Kind of admissions brought you here, and now we're kind of passing you off a little bit to the people that can help you navigate. We're still here, though, if you have questions, so feel free to reach out to us as well. Once you pay that deposit, everything else is going to kind of kick in for you. Not only the registering for Ready for the U, but housing preferences that are going to happen late in June. So once you pay that deposit, other triggers start to happen where other departments and resources know that you're coming and they're going to start reaching out to you. So it's very important also to be checking that email on a regular basis. And then the big thing, we want to see that final high school transcript. And hopefully we're going to be getting what we thought when we read the application, but also to prove graduation status. So that's going to be important, and that happens July 1st. Moving right along, there are ways, again, I was kind of mentioning for you to kind of stay in contact with us. Some of them are the social media handles, our email addresses there, because you may have questions still lingering. You certainly can reach out to the tour guides. You can certainly reach out to Eliza and Danielle's office as well to kind of get what you need. But going forward, folks, there's something out there for everybody, no matter where you decide to end up. Just make sure it's the right field. You've done your due diligence, checking about not only retention rates, but where these students working. Make sure the students that you're talking to, they're actually excited to kind of give you information and actually welcoming to you. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't be working here if that's the case. I guess you can tell doing 15 years, I do have my options of where I decide to work. But this flagship, I got to tell you, hands down, you'll be happy if you choose this as the place to be. So with that being said, it looks like we're going to finish a little bit earlier than, anticipated, but that's good. There's still some sunlight out there. I'm looking out my office window and I do see it. So maybe you can get some of that sunset. And again, take your time with it. You have till May 1st to make that decision. But if there are questions, please reach out to whomever you need. And if you're not sure who to reach out to, email me here in the admissions office. You can put, "Hey, Byron, I have a question. I'm trying to reach this person," and I will gladly get you to the right person, because this is your decision and we want to make sure you have answers to every single thing that you need. Okay? So again, congratulations to all those students, your families, parents, tour guides. Thank you so much for tonight. Danielle, Eliza, awesome. And all our fellow students, congrats. I think there's a couple of you leaving soon. I saw some 25s up there. I think it was Sophie, maybe someone else. You know, stay in touch. What can I tell you? The Alumni Foundation's here, and we can use you for some admitted student events going forward as well. All right. Everyone have a great night. And again, thank you so much. Take care.